G'day guys, I'm Chris Dore, and today we're going to have a little chat about fishing streamers. Now, today's a beautiful midsummer day when the rivers are low, bright sunshine in the sky. It's probably the last thing people associated with streamer fishing. They're expecting cicada, they're expecting beetles, they're expecting sight fishing for swinging fish, which is all possibly true. But however, there are two vehicles already at this access point, and I've decided to turn up at about 11:30 in the morning on a day off, nice and relaxing. I can probably move upstream and find the odd fish, but I can guarantee I can work the water, I can pull fish out of cover, and I can get a bloody great afternoon by pulling streamers. Now, what you want is a decent enough rod to be able to handle a big streamer. Handy something with a bit of size, maybe a bit of weight if needed. A 6 weight or a 7 weight is perfect for this job with a medium aggressive line. I won't hesitate to fish a fast 5 with that. You just need to slow down your stroke, widen your arc, and let the rod do the work. Now, leader wise, keep it short. Just go 3 to 5 feet of just level, heavy nylon. The fish aren't looking at tippet and tippet shadow if they're chasing a piece of meat, right? Now with this, I could either pitch it upstream and strip it back, in which case I'd probably go for a longer leader. I can pitch it across stream with a bit of a downstream belly and fish broadside down the banks, or I can pitch it on a quarter downstream with an upstream reach me end, follow down to let it sink a touch, swing it through those runs and riffles. Now, don't set the hook with a streamer, just lead it around, follow it around, wait for the weight. Generally you'll find that the fish are mostly going to hook themselves if they want it. If you go to set the hook, often you're going to pull that fly away from them, when often they'll come in and have a second hit if needed. Let's go down to the river and let's have a look and see what we can find. So now I'm all doled up, let's have a quick chat about flies. Now, I don't think it's important to have a lot of different streamers and a lot of different colours. I think have something in contrasting tones. Here I've got a natural coloured sort of brownish sex dungeon, and the other large streamer I'll use will be a black for a really strong silhouette. Now it's also important to have different profiles though. I mean, these are large streamers and they'll often draw fish out from a mile away. However, you also need something more subtle for those days where they're a bit more shy, and that's where the Dore's Mr. Glister comes in handy. It was originally designed as a more subtle streamer pattern to the double bunnies I was fishing at the time, for when the fish just would either spook or follow or not commit, or if you had a hit and they dropped it. I would then go to a more smaller, simpler pattern. Jig head zonkers as well, jig head streamers, they're very effective at getting deep quick when you do need to get down in fast water. However, I find that if a fish wants a streamer, they're often happy to lift and move straight to it. If they don't, put it through them again or change your retrieve. Give it to them broadside, maybe give your fly a bit of movement, maybe get a faster or a slower swing on it. You can check those tips out on some of our spay tuition further out on the Manic blog. Okay, now it's time to talk profile on how to present that streamer to your fish. Do you want the fish to see the length end of the fly like this as it's skipping across them, a lot of movement to marabou, rabbit, and etc.? Or do you want them to see more of a long, broadside profile, the whole length, the whole width of the streamer as it slowly moves in front of them? Do you want it to move past them quickly like this, so they have to snatch? Or do you want it to spend a lot of time in front of their face, stalling, dropping, and spending as much time right in that eat zone as possible? You can present that many different ways. Now, one of my favourite ways of fishing streamers is a very active way. My thoughts are that if you've got a day where the fish aren't seriously feeding, you don't want them to eat it, you want them to attack it. You want to make them think that it is a large food item, a large morsel, dropping down, coming into their territory. Now, if you just cast across and down, let it swing past them, it's not coming into their zone, it's not invading, it's not an intruder, so they don't have to engage. Often you'll just find the fish will just slowly follow it at distance, follow it out of the zone and then return to their territory. However, if you come in from downstream, pitch your streamer aggressively upstream and rip it downstream back at the fish, back to you, then that can invoke a very aggressive territorial strike. Now check this out. Okay, the next approach on those slow days, particularly cold days, is to get that fly down deep and keep it in the zone. Keep it as much as you can in front of the fish's face. You don't necessarily need to go deep with a big profile streamer because fish will happily come up to it, but you do need to let them see the fly. There are a couple of ways to do this. You can try and pull them out from the banks by pitching a cross stream and putting a downstream end or a downstream reach curve into your cast. That way then your streamer is going to swim down the bank with its long broadside profile, exposed to the fish for a maximum amount of time. That's something that can really get those fish going, and expect a soft take on that. They'll often follow it, they'll grab it, and they'll just turn themselves back. So keep an eye on the end of your fly line as well as feeling for the take. Wait for that weight. If that fly line stops or that curve and that fly line changes on the surface, hit that. Now, the next thing you can do is a favourite technique of mine called banging the banks. And this is a good way of pulling fish out of cover on those days when they don't want to play ball. What I'm essentially doing is assuming that those fish are going to attack in the first couple of metres of the chase. Otherwise, they'll just follow it all the way to your feet. So my technique is to simply smash the fly down right against the bank. Smash and then rip straight into it. 1, 2, 3, 4 quick strips. Then pick it up, hit it into another spot downstream. Strip, 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 pick it up, drop it in. Strip, strip, strip. The splashdown grabs attention. Before the fish can think about it and spook, those strips, the fish just hears that big splash, feels that big audible plop. They look over and there's this big bit of meat racing away from them. Those strikes can be explosive, so use heavy tip. 10 to 12 pound Trout Hunter fluorocarbon is my standard on those situations. Check this. And then finally, when you're walking up on those glary days and you've got those big deep undercut banks, you're sneaking up along and you know that you're spooking fish out from under those banks, why not search it with a big streamer? When your buddy behind you might have his dry dropper rig or whatever you wish to cast it, present two-sighted fish, why don't you just move up along the bank with a short length of line, I'm talking a couple of rod lengths of line maximum, and just dropping your streamer ahead of you, raising the rod, keeping in touch with that line as you glide it back down that bank in front of you, send it back up there. Strip, 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 drop it back up there. You're just walking your way upstream, dropping that fly a metre out from the bank, giving it a gentle lift, gentle strip, just maintaining contact so you can set that hook. It's a great way of pulling fish out of those banks rather than just walking on top of them and seeing them scoot away. Hey, so streamer fishing is not just for high, dirty water, windy days, or fish that just aren't playing ball. There's a fish sitting out there in that super calm, spooky water, and you just know you're not going to get a good drop with your long leader and light, dry dropper combo. Why not throw a big streamer way out to the side, rip it back, and watch them come over, chase, and engage it? Hey, autumn is a perfect time for getting into streamer fishing, for throwing a big streamer or a small streamer depending on conditions through your favourite bit of water, down through that deep drop off, across those undercut banks or into that hole, because fish are on the move, fish are feeding, fish are getting aggressive and territorial. This is the perfect time to pick up a few sextants, a few Mr. Glisters or a few jig head streamers and get out there with your heavier tippet and do it. Windy days, high water, coloured water, inactive fish, or fish that just simply aren't out. Streamers open up a world of possibilities and keep you and fish on days where you could go home empty-handed. I'm Chris Dore, get out there and do it. Cheers.